What is up, YouTube? It's your boy T-Nice coming at you with the deck tech from our Commander League. My commander for this deck is Shadrix. So I actually started out the league slaughtering a lot of people with this. It was a pretty good Voltron deck, and no one just seemed to run removal or like try and stop me until it was too late. And then I just had enough like little hexproof or little indestructible cards just to totally like shut that down. We played like a 6-pod and I ended up killing like everyone besides Kevin because I let him win and then combo off, but that's beside the point. So Shadrix is 5 mana for flying double strike. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Each mode must target a different person. Target creature or target player creates a 2/1 flying inkling, and then target player draws a card and moves to life, and then target player puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature they control. So most of the time, what I'm doing is just putting a +1/+1 counter on each creature I control, and then, depending on the state of the board, giving someone a 2/1 or letting them draw a card. Drawing a card feels bad most of the time too, because hopefully they won't hit their removal. But 2/1s can feel bad too if I don't have anything to deal with it. But I do have a little bit of trample and a little bit of removal too for that, so it's done pretty well so far. I did way better at the start of the league when people didn't like realize it was a threat as much. So I just like play Shadrix, pump it a couple times, and then just start beating down, one-shotting people with commander damage really quick, because it only needs to get to like 11, and then I have a couple equipments in here that just really pump it up and make it do more. So I'll just start off with my 1-drops. So I also try in Shadrix to go like wide too, so I'm trying to make sure I hit a creature on turn 1, but I don't have too many good ones right here. So I just have Star Pupil and this clever Luminancer. So Star Pupil is one of the better 1-drops, just because when it dies, it lets me move all the +1/+1 counters on it to hopefully Shadrix is ideal. So it gets pumped once or twice and then let Shadrix go, and I have a couple like even kill spells. Oh crap, I think I put Village Rites here. Yeah. So it's even ideal to like pump Star Pupil up like 3 counters and then sack him and make him go. Just put them all on Shadrix, help it go even crazier. I have a couple Team Pennants, because right now at the league we can have 2 of everything. So Team Pennants are just really good, giving it Vigilance and Trample, and a little bit of a buff, so that helps. And then the rest of the cards are just pump or save spells for my 1-drop. So I just have a Defiant Strike. That's a really nice one, just like letting me pump and draw for this. Village Rites just helping me draw. Guiding Voice is really nice too, because then I can spend this early and pump one of my creatures, just make sure I have a decent blocker, and then go get my land spell, or the one that lets you go get a land, and that's really nice too. It's really helpful more. Curve and hit lands. This deck seems to struggle hitting lands for some reason. I had 40 at some point. I think I'm down to 39 right now. Professor's Warning is a good card in here. It lets me either pump. The dual modes are really ideal. It lets me either pump him or give him indestructible, so it feels like a lot of the instant speed removal spells in this format though are exile, so that feels bad a lot of the time. And then the last 2 are just more saves. So until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 whenever this creature dies, return to the battlefield. I just added Supernatural Stamina, and then this Blessing, which can give it hexproof if it has an enchantment attached to it. I have a couple in here, so I just added this one too, so it's a nice little pump to hopefully like get in the last little bit of damage for commander and kill someone. And then we'll move on to my 2-drops. I'm not really sure what Kevin wants from here, so we'll just do this. So I have a couple rocks here, because if I can get Shadrix out on turn 4, that's ideal. I have enough that it happens most of the time. So some little rocks. Sign in Blood Solid. And then just making sure I can hit my creatures on turn 2, also just to build that board state, because Shadrix being able to pump all my creatures just really kind of makes it a dual threat, being able to make sure people don't attack into me too. And then these are like my pumps for turn 2s, or 2 manas. So the equipments are really nice, just being able to like go past a board wipe or a removal spell, especially Lifelink. Lifelink becomes really important in our format, especially because it feels like people have so many board wipes or so many removal spells that, or not that, they have so many drains that Zach in particular has a drain deck that just sits there and like takes 30 life from us until like someone deals with him or kills him actually. So yeah, then the rest of these cards, there's another pump spell, and here's just some hexproof because that's the only way to really deal with all the exile in this format. So these are important, just making sure that Shadrix can get that last point of damage through, and giving it +2/+2 is really helpful too, especially getting 4 extra damage in a Shadrix can kill, honestly, most of the time too. Yeah, people try and kill it at instant speed, just give it hexproof and that helps. So then 3 drops, just some more mana rocks, trying to get Shadrix out on turn 4 if possible. And then I have some more pumps. This one's really good too. This one in particular, these two, just giving it trample helps, and just giving another +1/+1 counter each turn, and untapping it is really nice. It's really key because it just like doubles the clock almost for how fast Shadrix can go. And then I have just a good amount of creatures in here, nothing too special. Sedgemoor Witch is really good, just being able to pump out even more creatures, make my board state even more intimidating. Murderous Knight, being able to kill a creature and just play a 2/3 with lifelink is really important. Selfless Glint Weaver, just giving everything indestructible. And then I just barely added this Make a Stand, so we'll see how that performs. But just being able to, another card to give Shadrix indestructible and pump all my creatures will be good. And then just a murder, just a little bit of light removal going on here. You never know what else is going crazy. Kevin's Jawsy deck is really insane. I guess mine is too, but okay, so now we're starting to really dwindle in cards. Like for 5 drops or 4 drops, I only have like 6, but that's because I'd rather play Shadrix. So that's kind of where this deck starts to falter too, because it's almost like if I just go straight in Voltron, then a lot of the times it just catches a removal spell, especially from playing with like Kevin, because he just knows what's coming, so we'll hold one up. So then I'm trying to transition more to like a mid game too, so Shadrix like come out the first time, die, but hopefully put a counter on everything and just kind of like buff my board up, and then just keep coming out again. So Crushing Disappointment, this is probably on the chopping block because it just draws me 2 cards. It's an instant speed, which is good, but it's just such a medium card. Baleful Mastery, exile a creature, Dueling Coach, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and Combat Professor. So these are like perfect cards for Shadrix right now, honestly, the creature, because it plays into my board and then I can pump Shadrix too. So they're both really ideal, especially him getting Vigilance from Combat Professor. Dueling Coach can put a +1/+1 counter anywhere, and there's been games where Shadrix just keeps dying, but he's put a +1/+1 counter on everything at least once. So then Dueling Coaches tap 5 and tap him and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. It's not focusing. That becomes relevant too. We've gotten to like 20/20s before, just everything on my board. Then we'll go to the 5 drops. So there's just some more creatures. Now we're getting into like, I don't know, I opened up a lot of flyers too, so we have a good amount of them, just trying to like clog the board, hold everything up, and then just be big and strong. I don't know. Other win cons for Shadrix. I think every game I've won, or most of the games I've won, have just been Shadrix beating in though. Just some other flyers. None of these have been too relevant so far. Wandering Archaic is definitely a bomb out of the set that we play whenever we can. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery, they may pay 2. If they don't, you can copy that spell. So it's good in any deck. It's better in Jawsy, but here just being able to like either tax them or go get a land when they get a land, or put a +1/+1 counter or kill something. It just like is so effective. Then this Tenured Inkcaster, it's probably on the chopping block too, but it kind of does what I want it to also, just putting a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and then it can gain me back life. Like I said, this format just seems so drainy, and there's so many games it's just like everyone just keeps losing progressively like 5 or 10 life, and that adds up after turn, so then just being able to like swing in and gain my life back is helpful too. So my 6 drops. So open an Onyx, and it just feels bad not to play it, I guess. And then Celestial Mantle, enchanted creature gets +3/+3, and whenever it deals combat damage, double its controller's life total. So that's just so powerful too, because there's games where I've like had my lifelinking enchantment or given my Shadrix lifelink and get up to like 50 or 60 lives. Then being able to double that and just put me at such a high life total is really nice. And then I just have some more. Those are the 5 drops. My bad. These are just good, being able to like cast my Shadrix again, because every Commander game it dies at least 2 or 3 times, so being able to like play him again for 5 is really nice. So Shadrix has loaned me a lot of games too, especially from playing with like slower decks and people don't know what's going on too much. It's just being able to like fast to bust out some Commander damage, and then it's actually it feels really good being able to set up for the late game also, because just like being able to buff my board 5 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature I control isn't the best, but like eating a removal spell, and then if it stays, it's just so strong. So like I said, I had 40 lands in here at one point, but I'm cut down to 39, because for some reason I just couldn't curve out to 5. So I have like, so I have around 17 swamps and plains. I have an access tunnel. This has been interesting actually, just being able to, on turn 6, after I play my Shadrix, tapping him and giving him unblockable while he's still just 3, and then pumping him a little bit extra has been nice. Getting in that commander damage for people who have blockers, and then I can save the removal spell or the trampler for another turn has been nice. And then the lands are pretty much just what you'd expect. We still just have 2 copies of every card, so I still have 2 Silver Quill campuses. It's a fine dual land. It's better late game because then I can tap and get stuff. Hall of Oracles, if it's a late game, just being able to play my commander for, or just being able to pump it if I play a spell, and then late game Opal Palace letting me pump it late game too. So Shadrix has honestly been one of the stronger commanders in the format, and I'll just show you some of the cards I've cut. I had an extra access tunnel, but it's just been getting more and more medium. I've only been able to like give Shadrix unblockable on turn 6 and do it because now people are starting to realize how much of a threat it is. So Eliminate, I started with like 3 of it just because Eliminate's such like a strong card power-wise, but it just doesn't feel like what I want to be doing on turn 2. And I played this scholarship sponsor in there for a little bit too, but on turn 4, just it's not really wanting to be played on turn 4, more so turn 6 or 7, and then just, or even later, and just getting extra lands. But that's not even what I want to be doing so much at that point. And then this format's super weird with some of the removal spells. Like I played Mage Hunter's Onslaught and Umbral Juke. Destroying something in sorcery speed is super bad. It just feels bad in this format. And then sacking a creature it doesn't feel too relevant in this format. There's so many like little tokens that come out, so many little pests that people can just sack. And then creating a 2/1 Inkling for 3 mana doesn't feel the best either. And then, so Raise the Alarms would be a nice go wide card, but I don't think I super want to do that right now. And then a Silver Quill Apprentice. This would be more if I'm trying to go like full in on Votron, just being able to pump my Silver Quill whenever I cast a spell. So it'd be like pumping with any spell, I guess, and then just give him more buffs. Novice Dissenter. It doesn't feel too good in my deck. I don't have a whole lot of sack outlets, but I started with it in there. Just Exhilarating a Fluctuation. This was more when I was trying to focus on just Voltroning people, just killing him right off the bat, being able to pump him. But for 4 mana, just putting 2+1/+1 counters on him wasn't the most relevant. If I put counters on everywhere else, it'd be a little bit better, but just giving him a temporary bump. And then Defend the Campus, giving everything a little pump, or destroying something. It's not super what I want to be doing on turn 4. This is probably actually better. Maybe when I have to start cutting down cards, if I don't have anything better, it'd be good too, though. Just like having an option. It's actually probably the next card to go in. Anointer of Valor. Just a nice 6-drop flyer that lets me like keep pumping Shadrix if I'm out of cards in hand, and then a decent body. And then Freya of the Steel Legion. Just late game being able to start pumping out a lot of tokens, and even just a decent body too. Just stopping people from attacking. Alright, this has been Talmage doing a Shadrix Silver Quill deck tech. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure you tell Kevin's mean in the comments. That's what I like to tell him all the time. Alright, have a good day.